Hi there, this is Solitaire Ronin from Solitaire Ronin Films, and welcome to part 2 of my Satyajit Ray series, if I can actually say his name correctly. And this episode is on the 1956 film Aparajito, or The Unvanquished. This is the second part of the Apu trilogy. Ray didn't intend to do a sequel, but Pather Panchali was such a success that he ended up doing the second part, which was based on the same novel, and it follows Apu from being an early teenager probably to the age of 16 or 17. It's set in 1920, so we pick up Apu and his parents as they move to the city at the end of Pather Panchali. The city is shot in a really beautiful way with the claustrophobic streets and the blazing sunshine during the day. This film was shot by Subrata Mitra, the same DP who did Pather Panchali, so this would be his second film, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, the print of this burned in a fire, but Criterion have done a really good job at restoring it. There is some grain and dissolves between scenes, but in general it's a great transfer. This film is another tough one. The family kind of suffer through almost Dickensian kind of luck and events happening to them. So once again they're kind of hit by poverty when the father falls ill, and they have to return to the country, and the woman that employs Apu's mother takes her to the country to continue the work for her. Even though it's called the Apu trilogy, you could actually call it the Apu's Mum's trilogy. The actress Karuna Banerjee is just fantastic in this. She's pretty much the strong matriarch who has to keep the family together. And Apu enrolls in the local school and over time excels as a student, and the opportunity comes to go to Calcutta to study, get a scholarship, and also get a job at night in a printing press while he is doing his studies. Obviously this leaves the mother alone, and you can really see the pain in her face when she realises she's not going to see her son for a lot of the time. And again, because quite a lot of people she cares about have kind of disappeared from her life for one reason or another, and then things happen. I'm not going to have spoilers because I hope people actually go and watch these films at some point, and then Apu is left to carry on with the next chapter in his life. Now again, it's a fairly simplistic story. We've kind of seen it before, but through Ray's just wonderful eye for composition, it is again another beautiful film. It's maybe not the masterpiece that Pather Panchali is, but it's still a very good film. It's still, for me, a 4 out of 5 type film, and it still packs an emotional wallop. The train motif, which kind of started in Pather Panchali, this kind of idea of the excitement of a train and where it can take you. Well, the kind of first shots going into the city with the family are from a train. The train, and from the mother's point of view later in the film, represents the chance that Apu might actually be on it to come visit her. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. So the train motif is still strong and what that represents. The Apu trilogy is not only about Apu kind of growing up and making transitions in his life, it's also kind of about India changing. These films are set like 1920, early 1920s, so you can see a kind of change. The printing press, and one of the students has cigarettes, which is kind of a new thing. So it's also a kind of passage on the changing nature of India as well. There's more characters that speak a little bit of English in this one, as well as Bengali. So that's kind of, and students are seen to be better students if they speak a bit of English, or more English. There's something pure about Ray's work. There's something pure about his eye. There's a scene where the mother imagines that she's heard Apu's voice, so she goes to the door to look down the path, and it says beautiful path, this curved path with trees, and then there's a kind of creek, and as it kind of gets darker, fireflies appear, and then all that's left in the frame is fireflies. It's absolutely beautiful. Again, the Criterion edition, this is 2 of 3 discs for the Apu trilogy. This contains a new interview with a film writer, Ujjwal Chakraborty, which I probably butchered his name, so I apologise. There's an audio recording, of a 1958 conversation between Satyajit Ray and a film historian. There's a new video essay by Ray biographer Andrew Robinson about making of the Apu trilogy, and there's a 1967 half-hour documentary featuring interviews with Ray about him and his work. Because again, Ray started actually making cover illustrations for children's and adults' books before he actually made films. And again, Indian cinema before Ray were kind of melodramatic and colourful and had the inserted song and dance numbers in the middle of the film. So when Ray came along, it literally was revolutionary. And I suppose you could be cynical and look at these films as a kind of, these kind of pastoral, country, kind of old-fashioned kind of films, but I think 60 odd years later, they still stand up and are still powerful, and they are that dreaded word, universal, because we've all been through similar things to what these people have been through, and again, this family, this core of characters, it's people we recognise, and it's people that we root for, and we feel for. And again, very much like the first film, the second film finishes with a character walking away in the distance, going towards the next chapter in their lives. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this video makes you want to go and pick up the Apu trilogy. Hopefully this series will at least make people do that, because they are really rewarding films. But let me know in the comments below if you've seen Aparajito and what you think of it, and hopefully we'll see you again for part 3 of the Satyajit series. So this is Satyajit saying thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again, and have a good evening.